There's a certain power in the word no. It is a word that when used with conviction and clarity can reshape your destiny. It is a word that signals to the world that you are not willing to be swept away by the currents of every demand or expectation. Rather than being a passive participant in your own life, you become an active architect of your future. Every time you say no to what does not serve you, you say yes to your own dreams, your own mission, and your own journey of self-discovery. It is natural to feel a tinge of guilt when you refuse a request, especially when you see the disappointment in someone's eyes. But that guilt is not yours to bear. It is the consequence of a system that has long exploited our tendency to overextend ourselves. Remember that guilt is merely an emotion, and emotions do not have the power to define your worth or dictate your actions. When you choose to say no with confidence, you are affirming that your purpose is too important to be compromised by the fleeting desires of others. You may find that the act of saying no creates ripples in your relationships. Some people may not understand your new boundaries. They might even react negatively. But those reactions are not a reflection of your character. They are reflections of their own limitations and expectations. As you grow in strength and wisdom, you will notice that true friends and allies will respect your boundaries, even if they struggle to comprehend them at first. They will recognize that by saying no, you are not turning away from them, but rather you are preserving your ability to contribute in a meaningful way when it truly counts. When you learn to say no without guilt, you empower yourself to choose quality over quantity in every area of your life. You begin to see that every moment is a precious resource, one that should be invested in your personal and spiritual development. With each no that you utter, you build the foundation for a life that is not dictated by the chaos of constant demands, but by the clarity of purpose and the strength of your convictions. Stand firm in your decision to say no when necessary, for it is in these moments that you truly honor the life you are meant to live. There comes a time in life when you must take an honest look at the people around you and ask yourself, are they adding to my life or are they only taking from it? Are they pushing me toward my purpose or are they pulling me away from it? Some of you are struggling, not because you lack potential, but because you are surrounded by people who drain your energy, waste your time, and keep you from growing. It is time to stop making excuses for them. It is time to stop allowing relationships that keep you stagnant. Not everyone who starts with you is meant to finish with you. Some people were only meant to be part of your journey for a season, but because of comfort, familiarity, or fear, you have held on to them longer than you should. You keep giving chances to people who don't respect your time. You keep pouring into people who never pour back into you. You keep allowing toxic energy into your life because you are afraid of what will happen if you let go. But let me tell you something, when you hold on to what no longer serves you, you block what was meant for you. Some of you have friendships that only exist because you are the one always reaching out, always checking in, always making the effort. You carry the weight of relationships that should have ended long ago. You know these people are not good for you. You know they are not helping you grow. But because you fear conflict, because you don't want to be seen as mean, you tolerate behavior that drains you. You must understand, keeping the wrong people in your life does not make you kind. It makes you distracted. Energy is contagious. If you spend your time with negative, lazy, and visionless people, you will slowly begin to take on those same traits. But if you surround yourself with those who inspire you, challenge you, and push you higher, you will naturally rise to new levels. The problem is many of you are still trying to bring people along who are not willing to grow. You keep lowering yourself to fit their comfort instead of rising to your true potential. You cannot climb higher while carrying people who refuse to move. Some of you have people in your life who only show up when they need something. They take from you but give nothing in return. They drain your energy but never replenish your spirit. You are exhausted not because you are doing too much, but because you are doing too much for the wrong people. And the reason you feel stuck, the reason you feel like you are not progressing, is because you are allowing people into your space who are weighing you down. It is not your job to save everyone. It is not your responsibility to carry people who refuse to take responsibility for themselves. Yes, we are called to help others, but we are not called to sacrifice our purpose for people who have no desire to change. There is a difference between helping someone who is trying and enabling someone who is comfortable taking advantage of you. The moment you decide to grow, the moment you decide to take your life seriously, you will begin to see who truly belongs in your life. Some people will celebrate your growth. Others will resist it. Some will support your journey. Others will feel threatened by it. You must be okay with the fact that not everyone will understand your decisions. Not everyone will agree with your path. And that is perfectly fine. Your future is not dependent on their approval. When you begin to distance yourself from people who drain you, you will notice something incredible: peace, clarity, strength. Your mind will be sharper. Your energy will be restored. You begin to attract the right people who encourage you, who speak life into you, who help you become the person you were created to be. But that will never happen if you continue holding on to relationships that keep you stuck in the past. It is time to make a decision. You can either continue to allow toxic, draining people to occupy space in your life, or you can take control and surround yourself with those who uplift and inspire you. Let go of what is weighing you down and watch how quickly you rise. There comes a point in life when you must stop apologizing for who you are. Stop apologizing for having standards. Stop apologizing for expecting respect. Stop apologizing for being different. Too many people are trapped in the cycle of seeking approval, adjusting their personalities and suppressing their true selves just to make others comfortable. But when you constantly shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you, you lose the essence of who you are. You were not created to live in fear of other people's opinions. You were not designed to beg for acceptance. The need for validation has kept too many people bound, always seeking approval, always looking for permission to be themselves. But let me tell you something: people's approval does not determine your worth. Their opinions do not define your identity. Whether they like you or not, whether they agree with you or not, whether they support you or not, you must stand firm in who you are. Some of you have been playing small, hiding your potential, suppressing your gifts because you don't want to offend anyone. You don't want to outgrow certain friendships. You don't want to be misunderstood. But let me ask you, why should you apologize for your growth? Why should you feel guilty for evolving? The truth is, the moment you stop apologizing for being who you are, the right people will recognize you and the wrong people will remove themselves. When you have standards, people will call you difficult. When you refuse to tolerate disrespect, they will say you are too harsh. When you demand excellence, they will accuse you of being arrogant. But understand this: your life is too valuable to be lived on the terms of people who don't even understand your purpose. You are not here to make everyone comfortable. You are here to fulfill a calling to walk in confidence, to use the gifts that were placed inside you. Some of you have been apologizing for your ambition. You have been hiding your dreams, downplaying your success, making yourself smaller so that others don't feel insecure around you. But the light in you was not given so that you could dim it for others. You were meant to shine, to stand out, to make an impact. And if your growth makes some people uncomfortable, that is their problem, not yours. It is time to stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided to misunderstand you. Some people will never accept your vision because it does not fit their expectations. Some will never support your progress because they are threatened by it. But you must not waste your energy trying to convince people who have no intention of understanding you. The right people will recognize your value. The right people will celebrate your journey. When you stop apologizing for who you are, you give yourself permission to live freely. You begin to make decisions based on purpose rather than pressure. You stop worrying about being liked and start focusing on being effective. And the moment you embrace who you truly are, you will find strength you never knew you had. People may talk. They may criticize. They may try to discredit you. But do not let their words shake you. Do not let their opinions define your worth. Because at the end of the day, the only validation that matters is the one that comes from knowing you are walking in your truth. Stand firm. Be bold. Live unapologetically. Because the world does not need another copy. It needs you to be exactly who you were created to be. There comes a time when you must take full responsibility for your life. You must stop waiting for someone to rescue you. Stop expecting others to change your circumstances. Stop blaming your past, your environment, or the people who didn't support you. Because at the end of the day, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to fight for your destiny more than you. No one is going to care about your success as much as you should. Too many people waste years complaining about what they didn't have, about who didn't help them, about the opportunities they missed. But complaining has never changed a life. Excuses have never built anything great. Self-pity has never opened a door. If you want to change your life, you must first change your mindset. You must shift from waiting to taking action. You must stop making excuses and start taking responsibility. Because the only way forward is through ownership. Some of you have been waiting for the perfect conditions, waiting for the right people to believe in you, waiting for things that should become easier before you start moving. But let me tell you the truth, there will never be a perfect moment. There will never be a time when everything aligns perfectly. If you keep waiting, you will waste years that could have been spent building, learning, and growing. You don't need more time, you need more discipline. You don't need more motivation, you need more commitment. Because life does not reward those who wait, it rewards those who work. Some of you have been stuck in the same place for years, not because you lack potential, but because you refuse to take control. You blame your circumstances, but the truth is, the power to change has always been in your hands. No one is responsible for your success except you. No one is holding you back except the limitations you refuse to confront. And the moment you decide to take ownership, your entire life will begin to shift. It is easy to point fingers. It is easy to blame your upbringing, your setbacks, or the people who hurt you. But as long as you see yourself as a victim, you will never rise above your challenges. Victimhood is a prison. It keeps you stuck in the past. It keeps you focused on what went wrong instead of what you can do to move forward. But when you take responsibility, you take back your power. You stop waiting and you start creating. Some of you are frustrated because you keep expecting people to support you in ways they never will. You are waiting for validation, for encouragement, for permission. But if you keep waiting for people to believe in you before you start, you will never start. Some people will never support you not because you are incapable, but because they don't see what you see. And that's okay. Your destiny is not tied to their approval. Your purpose is not dependent on their validation. You must learn to move forward even if no one claps for you. You must learn to believe in yourself even when no one else does. Because at the end of the day, it is your responsibility to build the life you want. No one will do it for you. No one will hand it to you. If you want more, you must become more. If you want change, you must be willing to do what it takes to make it happen. And let me tell you something, when you stop making excuses, when you stop waiting for someone to come and save you, you will be amazed at how much power you actually have. You will realize that you are not as helpless as you once thought. You will see that you have always had everything you needed to succeed. The only thing missing was your decision to take control. So take ownership. Stop waiting. Stop blaming. Stop making excuses. Step into the power that has always been inside you. Because the moment you do, your life will never be the same again. Life is too short to live in fear, too valuable to waste on people who drain you, and too important to be spent seeking approval from those who will never understand your purpose. You were not created to be weak, to be passive, or to live at the mercy of other people's opinions. You were made to stand firm, to set boundaries, to pursue your calling without apology. The moment you stop being soft with everyone, stop saying yes when you need to say no, stop allowing toxic people to take up space in your life, stop making excuses for why you haven't stepped into your greatness, you will experience a shift. Your peace will increase. Your confidence will grow. Your future will begin to align with the vision you were created for. So stand strong. Speak boldly. Set standards and keep them. Take responsibility for your life and refuse to let anything or anyone hold you back. You have the power to rise, to lead, and to walk in the fullness of your purpose. The time for hesitation is over. The time for compromise is done. This is your moment to step forward with courage and never look back. Good luck on your journey. Stay strong, stay focused, and stay true to who you are. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, life is not for the weak. The world does not reward softness, it rewards it to stand firm in their convictions. Those who refuse to be pushed around by the opinions of others. Too many people today are afraid to speak up. afraid to take a stand, afraid to say no. And because of that, they become prisoners to the expectations of others. Let me tell you something. You were not created to live at the mercy of people's opinions. If you try to please everyone, you will lose yourself. You will dilute your vision, compromise your values, and weaken your potential. The fear of disappointing others is one of the greatest enemies of success. Too many people live their lives trying to please everyone, and as a result, they lose themselves. They spend their days bending, adjusting, and accommodating, hoping to gain the approval of others. But let me tell you something, if you live for people's approval, you will die from their rejection. The moment you give control of your life to others, you stop being the person you were created to be. There is a difference between serving people and being enslaved by them. Some of you have become prisoners of opinions, afraid to step outside the lines because someone might not agree with your decisions. But the truth is, no matter what you do, someone will always have something to say. You could be the kindest, most generous person in the world, and there will still be people who find fault with you. So why waste your life trying to keep everyone happy? Every great leader, every person who has ever made an impact had to make peace with the fact that not everyone would approve of them. The moment you decide to pursue your purpose, you will encounter opposition. Not because you are wrong, but because people are uncomfortable with anything that challenges the norm. Some will misunderstand you, some will criticize you, and some will even walk away. But that is the price of being true to yourself. Many of you are exhausted, not because life is difficult, but because you are carrying the weight of unnecessary expectations. You are constantly trying to meet demands that were never meant for you. You are trying to be everything to everyone while neglecting the most important person you. If you continue living like this, you will wake up one day and realize that you have spent your entire life fulfilling someone else's agenda instead of your own. You must learn to stand firm in who you are. Stop apologizing for your dreams. Stop lowering your standards just to make others comfortable. Stop shrinking yourself so that others won't feel insecure around you. If you are always adjusting to make others happy, you will never fully step into the person you were created to be. Some of you have been afraid to step out because you don't want to disappoint the people around you. But let me ask you, what about the disappointment you will feel when you look back and realize you never became who you were meant to be? Which is worse, the temporary disappointment of others or the lifelong regret of never pursuing your calling? You were not created to live in the shadows of people's expectations. You were created with a purpose, with a vision, with a destiny. And if you are ever going to fulfill it, you must be willing to stop seeking validation from everyone around you. Some will not understand you. Some will question you. Some will even turn against you. But that is not your concern. Your concern is whether or not you are walking in obedience to your assignment. Because at the end of the day, it is not people who will judge how you lived your life. It is the one who gave you life in the first place. Stop living to please everyone. Live to fulfill your purpose. Live with courage, with conviction, with boldness. And most of all, live free. Your life is too valuable to be open for everyone's demands, expectations, and opinions. If you don't set boundaries, people will take as much as you allow. They will drain your energy, waste your time, and pull you in directions that have nothing to do with your purpose. Many people struggle, not because they lack potential, but because they lack discipline in protecting what matters. If you do not guard your vision, distractions will consume you, and before you know it, you will be busy but not productive, surrounded by activity but lacking progress. Every successful person understands the importance of setting boundaries. They know that time is the most valuable resource and that purpose demands focus. If you give your time to everything, you will accomplish nothing. Some of you have visions, goals, and dreams, but you are constantly being pulled into things that do not align with them. You allow others to dictate your schedule. And as a result, you are always running, always helping, always saying yes, even when it costs you your peace. But let me tell you something, you cannot fulfill your destiny if you are constantly at the mercy of other people's expectations. There comes a time when you must draw the line. You must decide what is essential and eliminate what is not. You must learn to say no without guilt. Saying no is not selfish, it is necessary. If you say yes to everything, you will end up saying no to your own purpose. The truth is, some people only value for what they can get from you. They don't care about your vision, your dreams, or your purpose. They only care about how you fit into their plans. If you do not protect your priorities, people will make you a tool for their own agenda. Some of you are afraid to set boundaries because you don't want to offend anyone. You don't want people to feel like you've changed. But the reality is, if you are growing, you must change. Growth requires separation from the things that slow you down. If you are carrying too many unnecessary weights, you will never reach your destination. You must have the wisdom to know what deserves your time and what does not. Boundaries are not just about protecting your time. They are also about protecting your peace. Well, some of you have allowed toxic relationships, negative conversations, and unnecessary drama to enter your life simply because you have not set limits. Not everyone deserves access to your mind. Not everyone deserves access to your emotions. You must learn to guard your space because what you allow in your environment will eventually shape your mindset. If you want to succeed, you must protect the things that contribute to your growth. That means being intentional about where you invest your energy. It means making decisions that align with your vision, not just your emotions. It means cutting off distractions and surrounding yourself with people who push you forward instead of pulling you back. Setting boundaries is not about being rooted, it's about being responsible. You are responsible for your time. You are responsible for your focus. You are responsible for the life you build. And if you allow everyone to have access to you without limits, you will end up exhausted, frustrated, and far from your purpose. The most effective people in life are not the ones who do everything for everyone. They are the ones who know what to say yes to and what to walk away from. They are the ones who are disciplined in guarding their vision. If you do not protect what is important, distractions will steal your destiny. It is time to take control. It is time to stop letting people pull you in every direction. It is time to stop feeling guilty for putting your purpose first. Those who truly value you will respect your boundaries. And those who don't respect them were never meant to walk with you in the first place. Protect your vision. Protect your time. Protect your purpose. Because if you don't, no one else will. Too many people confuse kindness with weakness. They assume that being loving means being passive. That being compassionate means allowing yourself to be walked over. But let me tell you something, kindness is not weakness. In fact, true kindness requires strength. It takes strength to be patient in the face of disrespect. It takes strength to love people even when they don't appreciate it. It takes strength to hold your peace when others try to provoke you. But strength is not silence, and love is not submission to abuse. Some of you have allowed people to take advantage of you in the name of kindness. You have mistaken being nice for being a doormat. You tolerate disrespect because you don't want to be seen as rude. You allow people to use you because you're afraid of disappointing them. But if your kindness is costing you your peace, your energy, and your self-respect, then it is no longer kindness, it is self-sabotage. Being kind does not mean you say yes to everything. It does not mean you allow others to take advantage of your generosity. It does not mean you stay in environments that drain you simply because you don't want to offend anyone. Kindness should never come at the expense of your dignity. There is a time to be gentle, and there is a time to stand firm. There is a time to serve, and there is a time to walk away. There is a time to be patient, and there is a time to say, enough is enough. You were not created to live in fear of people's reactions. Some of you are afraid to speak up because you don't want to be seen as mean. But let me ask you, what good is your kindness if it allows others to manipulate you? What good is your generosity if it leaves you empty? What good is your patience if it only enables others to take advantage of you? True kindness is balanced with wisdom. It knows when to give and when to withhold. It knows when to be gentle and when to be firm. It knows when to offer grace and when to walk away. Some of you need to stop allowing guilt to control your decisions. You are afraid that if you set boundaries, people will say you've changed. You are afraid that if you stop allowing others to take advantage of you, they will think you are selfish. But the truth is, those who truly care about you will not expect you to sacrifice yourself just to keep them happy. If someone only values you when you are convenient for them, they never truly valued you at all. It is time to redefine what kindness means. It's not weak, it is strong. It is not passive, it is intentional. It is not about making everyone happy. It is about being true to yourself while still treating others with respect. You can be kind and still be firm. You can be loving and still set boundaries. You can serve others without losing yourself. Some of the strongest people in history were kind, but they were not weak. They stood for what was right. They spoke the truth even when it was unpopular. They refused to compromise their values for the sake of acceptance. And because of that, they made an impact. If you want to make a difference, if you want to live with purpose, you must stop equating kindness with weakness. Your kindness should not make you a prisoner to people's expectations. It should not make you a victim of manipulation. Should not make you afraid to stand your ground. True kindness has power. It lifts others up without lowering itself. It serves others without being enslaved to them. It loves people without compromising its own identity. So be kind, but be strong. Be loving, but be wise. Give, but don't allow yourself to be used. Stand firm in who you are and never mistake softness for strength. Because true kindness, real kindness, is not about pleasing people. It's about living with integrity, confidence, and wisdom. Too many of us live in a constant state of compromise, afraid to voice our boundaries for fear of being labeled unkind or selfish. We have been conditioned to think that every request deserves a yes, that every invitation should be accepted, even when it pulls us away from our true path. But there comes a time when saying no becomes not only necessary, but vital for preserving our energy, our peace, and our purpose. When you learn to say no without guilt, you reclaim control of your life and free yourself from the burden of trying to satisfy everyone else's demands. Consider the countless moments when you found yourself stretched too thin, overwhelmed by obligations that did not align with your deepest values. Each yes that you gave to others took away a piece of the time you could have devoted to your own calling. It may have seemed like a kind gesture in the moment, but over time, it left you feeling depleted, your spirit battered by constant compromise. To say no is not to reject love or service. It is to honor the gift of life that you have been given by protecting it from unnecessary distractions. When you say no without guilt, you are making a conscious decision to stand guard over your time and energy. You are setting a precedent that your value is not measured by your willingness to be everything to everyone, but by your ability to invest in what truly matters. It is a decision to prioritize your own growth, your dreams, and your future over the fleeting comfort of pleasing others. This is not an act of selfishness, but an act of self-respect and discipline. Many of you have been taught that kindness means sacrificing your own needs for the sake of others. However, this is a dangerous misconception. True kindness and generosity come from a place of strength and balance. When you say no, you are not closing your heart. You are opening a space for the right opportunities to come into your life. You are making room for relationships and experiences that align with your purpose rather than deplete you. Saying no allows you to preserve the energy needed to say yes to the things that matter most.